Snake, how do you like me?
What the?
Do you like me? Hold me, Snake.
What's wrong?
Oh, hurry. Make love to me. Oh, Snake, I want you.
Who's that?
Oh, you don't like girls?
Snake, Meryl's not herself. Don't use your weapon.
It's Psycho Mantis. He's controlling Meryl. That tune is his mind control music.
Don't use your weapon. Try to knock her out.
What's up, everyone? Genesis here, bringing you a brand new episode of The Haven Exchange, a weekly podcast where we talk about everything from video games to the meaning of life. On this episode, we talk about the unique, the interesting, the wild and crazy mechanics in video games. But before we get into that, I want to let you all know to check out our merch store on teespring.com to get yourself swagged out in the iconic Haven Exchange logo merch and the infamous He Lion collection, because we all know that motherfucking lion. You can check out the store via the links posted wherever you find this episode and support the show today. Now, let's grow ourselves a Leonard Nimoy fish and get a little weird.
This is the Haven Exchange.
What's up, everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Haven Exchange, a podcast brought to you by the Gamers Haven Network and the leading 48th most entertaining podcast ever. I think we actually nailed it, guys. We did it. We finally achieved greatness. We are there at the top. Look out, Joe Rogan.
I'll only allow that because I'm in here.
You ruined my other setup for a joke. I am your host, Genesis_GEH, Twitch's most amazing dude ever. And then we also have Big RC. Wait a minute. See, he ruined my joke. See what I was going to do there? But if you're familiar with the voices, then you know that wasn't RC. Who is that?
Doofenshmirtz Evil Incorporated.
Oh my goodness.
Okay. No, nothing. No. I regret this decision already. This isn't going to be good. Or it could be fantastic. We'll see.
It's going to be great, guys. We're going to do great. We're going to do great things.
If you don't know, that is
Make
Sage.
this podcast great again.
Oh, no.
Oh, my goodness.
It's too soon? Too late? I don't just don't use that phrasing. I don't think we're allowed to anymore anyways, yes, that is Mr. Sage himself. He has decided to join another episode with us since Ryan's not here. Big RC, he's gone. He's missing. What did we do with him? I don't know. We should talk shit about him though. The Lord himself over there. Rick!
I really got to make sure that I have it wrapped in my head that I should not make certain jokes while I'm being recorded. Because I had a good one, but it probably would have got me kicked off the show.
That's why there's editing. And I sometimes edit the shit you say, but a lot of times I just leave that shit in. The people have to know.
I mean, go for it. No?
Yeah,
This is a safe place.
I'm pretty sure Sage didn't listen to the last episode he was on because, boy, that was edited fully.
Oh, my goodness.
All the shit he was talking about my job, and yeah, he basically wasn't a guest.
I was about to say, did you just edit him right out of it?
I didn't even say anything about your job. I don't think. Maybe.
Yeah, multiple times.
Oh, yeah, okay, that sounds more right.
Yeah. I was about to say, you talking about his job is just like normal, everyday thing for you. So you probably don't even realize you do it.
And the shitty thing is, like, he made it harder for me because I had to focus more on the editing to edit out all his bullshit. So, like, he doubled down on the pain he causes in my life.
So that means you had to listen to it thoroughly.
Yes.
Did any of it seep in and help?
No. No,
No, that's funny.
not even a little bit. Anyways, what's going on, guys?
Same old. Just being careful out here.
Yeah, are you?
Oh yeah. I'm not. I mean, my usual trip to Walgreens, Walmart, the gas station, Target. No.
You're really sheltering in place.
Right. People, let me start off by saying that was a joke, people. Okay, I'm taking this very serious. I am at home 99% of the day. Okay, so please do not inbox me saying some random shit.
I go
I'm pretty sure he's had like 5 COVID scares.
No COVID scares.
What about you, Sage? How you feeling these days?
Like I said, I go outside and play freeze tag with randos just to see what they do.
With his tongue.
Like, oh, got two O's.
They
get real mad at me. Yell at me. Cops been involved. It's the whole thing.
Speaking of which, we really got to talk to RC about that, and we really got to tell him he needs to stop calling it the Kung Flu.
Yeah,
that's not cool. That's not appropriate.
He's on timeout now from recording because of that.
What if you put like music behind it?
That might be the theme song for his upcoming anime where he's in a Panera Bread beating up fifth graders.
I can hear like a lute, maybe a sitar in the background.
Right. Is that how a sitar sounds?
No, but please do that again.
Yeah.
That was like a real high pitched banjo.
Yeah, I thought you were going with like some Dukes of Hazzard type shit.
I mean, think aqueous transmission, the beginning.
I don't know what that is.
Okay, never mind then. Never mind. Moving on.
Is that an anime?
No, it's a song.
Oh. By who?
No, I don't know. So
yeah, of course Rick don't know.
Yeah.
I believe it's Sublime.
Oh. Maybe I'll not sing it.
No.
Oh.
It's probably the most chillest song you could ever hear.
Well, if it's from Sublime, absolutely. I love me some Sublime.
Nope. It's Incubus. My fault.
Oh, even better. Incubus, that was a group.
Yeah, it was. I remember there were so many people when I was growing up listening to Linkin Park trying to tell me they were the next big thing. Like, nothing beats Linkin Park, you know?
Wait, you're saying that
Incubus.
People were saying Incubus was the next big thing?
Yeah, when I was in high school. They were trying
wasn't
to tell
Incubus
me that.
around before Linkin Park though?
That's a good question.
No, I thought they were because I thought their big hit song.
Because I know Linkin Park really hit in like 98, 99ish.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know when Incubus became a thing. I want to say they were around like 95, dude.
Well, they definitely could have been around longer, but I mean, did they have a hit song before then?
Well,
before Lincoln?
Googling Incubus got me a weird thing on Wikipedia.
Incubus has been around since 1991.
Yeah. I mean, when was that first hit song, though?
Their first 2 albums earned the band mainstream recognition in 95 and 97.
Here's a fun fact about Incubus that
oh my God.
that may not want you to listen to them anymore. According to Wikipedia, an incubus is a demon in male form who, according to mythological and legendary traditions, lies upon sleeping women in order to engage in sexual activity with them.
Of course.
Incubus? So is that supposed to be the reverse of a succubus?
Exactly, actually. Wow, didn't know that.
Yeah, no, did not know that.
So they just out here fucking women. Okay.
Sleeping women, apparently.
Oh my goodness.
It calls that out specifically on Wikipedia. Anyways.
this went off the rails here.
A little bit. Let's see. I am as the king of segues. Let's see how can I segue that into our topic today? No, there's no segue.
How can you segue sleeping on women into?
Yeah, I don't know how you do that. You're welcome to try.
I'm thinking. Incubus, incubus, Latin for incudelamascent. No, I got nothing.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Hey, you better be careful saying random gibberish in Latin. You could be like saying I want to F. I don't know, man.
Derek doesn't know where that's from.
No, I don't know what that's from.
He just thought it was funny language that you just said, but doesn't realize it's from a movie.
What movie is it from?
Army of Darkness.
Oh, yeah, I didn't see that.
That scene is hilarious.
That was great.
What's that? What is this? The Evil Dead? Is that on any streaming platform?
I'm not sure.
Original.
Yeah, I'm not sure what if that's on anything.
Yeah, I'm not really 100% sure. I think the TV show's on Netflix.
Yeah.
Yeah, the TV show is on. Oh, maybe the original or the movies are on there then. If the TV show is, no, I don't see it being on any platform.
Okay.
Speaking of platform, there's platform and games here, people.
there's the segue.
Don't worry, I'm here all night.
Yes, today's episode. Well, with the release of a new game called The Medium, that game consists of a very interesting game mechanic, which you play essentially split screen almost entirely the whole game. We'll talk about that. But that got me thinking about interesting, weird, crazy, perfect game mechanics in video games. And so I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about that, bring up some of our favorites and talk about some of the mechanics that stand out most to us. You both had played The Medium, so let's just dive in right there with that game mechanic, because I haven't played it yet, but that seemed really cool to me when I saw gameplay footage of it.
It's a very fun game. I enjoy it, and Rick can attest to this because we had spoke about this briefly the other night. Like, it's one of those games where you kind of have to be in the mood to play, though.
Sure.
Yeah. Like, you can't. It's not just to pick up and play any moment, because you really got to pay attention to everything. Like, it's reminiscent of like old school like Resident Evil games where you have the fixed camera behind you. You got to check everything and make sure you know what's going on. Like, it's if you grew up playing those games, you'll really like it a lot.
We'll talk a little bit about the split screen mechanic, because I want to know more about that and how that works.
Split screen is pretty cool. I mean, it's not through the entire game, but when it is there, like you kind of have to just pick and choose which one you want to look at, because trying to look at both gets really hard.
So but now it's one side is real world.
Yeah,
right?
One side is the real world, the other one's the spirit world. But you'll like see like, let's say like a glowing box on the spirit world side, and then you go over there and pick it up, but there's nothing on the real world side. But it's crazy because your real world side still does all the same motions that your spirit world side does for picking up and opening doors and stuff that aren't actually there.
So if somebody were to like be in the room with her, she'd look like an idiot.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah. But these are only small or like sections of the game. The whole game isn't like that.
No, not the whole game. Because I mean, when she gets into the little ward or whatever that she's in, it happens a lot more. But, they have to do like the building up into it and giving the background of her and explaining like who she is and whatnot.
Okay.
But a lot of it is there for puzzles too. So like there'll be some locks that you have to bounce back and forth between both sides to get through the next little area or whatever.
That's dope. That's really cool. That's like essentially making a co-op game into a single player game, but maintaining the co-op functionality.
Yeah, it's kind of like A Way Out.
Yeah, that is another one I wanted to talk about a little bit later in the mechanic that encompasses that game. But before we get there, when I saw Medium, especially because it's Team Bloober and I love that development studio, but then I had no idea that was a game mechanic in that game until I saw full gameplay footage of it. And I thought that was a really cool and unique thing, in a time where we're seeing nothing but remakes and reboots. It's refreshing to see new mechanics like that come out. And that's what wanted me to talk about this more, because there's tons of games that have done that. And now I want to be specific. We're not talking about first person shooter, like the first game that did like genre style mechanics. I want to go like a little bit more deeper into smaller mechanics that can be big a part of a game.
The thing about the Medium though, whereas 100% it is a mechanic, but at the same time, it's not. And that's what's so cool about it.
What do you mean?
Because it's actually two completely different game engines running at the same time, right next to each other.
Oh, interesting.
That's why they had to take it off the last gen. They just realized it wasn't going to work. So it's literally two different game engines running at the same time to make that game work.
I was
Yeah.
trying to figure out how they would do, like if they had to do basically double the environment time to build that out. That seems like a huge undertaking to do something like that. So it's and it's also two different engines running that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the easiest way, we've seen something like this before with the first Halo Anniversary, where the game, you can play the game in the original. And then there's the remixed. But the difference here is in Halo, it was just a graphical difference. You know, the foundation and everything was essentially the same. It was just up-res the graphics, you know, to the newer textures and stuff. Whereas the medium, the entire environment is different and it actually interacts differently in the other world versus the normal world. So like Sage said, certain things will be there in the real world and that aren't there in the other world.
I would love to interview one of the programmers on that project just to see if it was as confusing as it sounds like it would be in my head, or if it was actually really simple to do, because it seems very complicated. Imagine like if you're like, oh, I got to code this one part. Oh shit, this is now on the wrong side of the world or something, you know, crazy shit like that.
Well, I think the reason why it works in this scenario, specifically because of the next gen systems, is because they're utilizing the SSD hard drives that are in the machines. So because they're using the SSDs, it's loading that data quicker, much quicker than like a standard hard drive.
Right.
So that's why I don't know if we've mentioned it on any of the podcast episodes, but that's why I was so excited for this new gen, because every system is using the SSDs, they can really take advantage of, you know, no loading. They can do crazy things with their worlds.
Yeah.
We won't see anything like that for a couple, maybe another year or two, you know, but the medium's kind of the beginning of that.
And that's the good part. The fact that it is running and loading a lot faster on that one. But the downside of it running those two game engines is putting a lot of demand on the system. So whether you have the S or the X, it can't hit 4K. The highest it can do is 1440p, and even there, it's sparsely and drops from time to time. I mean, not enough to take you out of the game.
Sure, but it kind of answers the question of what does the future look like for games when we talk about like where can they go next, and something like this, new mechanics are being able to come out of new technology coming to these hardwares.
Yeah. Like I'm currently playing the medium on PC, and I have it installed on a SSD, and I mean, I'm not even attempting to hit 4K, but I'm noticing, you know, a few little graphical glitches here and there, but nothing too bad.
I have a question for you, because I meant to ask you this earlier, but that first scene in the morgue when they split up and, you know, you're talking to that guy, was yours like doing like almost like a rainbow, like dots here and there in the spirit world?
Yeah, it did. It kind of flat. Like, I actually thought my monitor was about to go out.
Yeah, dude, I was looking at it like, what the heck is going on here?
Because it looked like it was for like a hot second, but it like the image on the screen became discolored a little bit. That's like the first sign of like your monitor's LED or something about to blow out or something. So I got scared. I mean, you know, I haven't had any issues.
Yeah, it only did it there. Hasn't done it anywhere else.
Other than that, I did have another issue where I think it was in the morgue when she was looking at the body. The ground kept flashing like a bright white color for some reason. I don't know what that was, but those are probably the two biggest glitches that I've noticed. Other than that, I mean, like you said, it's definitely one of those games that you really have to be in the mood for something like that. You know, it's definitely not something that, you know, I know RC beat it. And RC probably has a much better attention span than I do, but I just haven't been in the mood to play it.
It's not a real long game. It's like 6-8 hours.
Yeah,
so it's not super long.
I know Rick is itching to talk about this one, so I'm going to set him up for this a little bit. And it's a big one that I remember as a kid as well. But the amazing mechanic in Metal Gear Solid when you fought the boss Psycho Manus.
Yeah. I mean, there are so many unique mechanics in Metal Gear Solid, the PS1 game. And I think the first one that comes to everyone's mind is usually the memory card or the plugging in controller to controller port 2 for Psychomantis' boss
walk
fight.
us through somebody that's never played it before. What happens in that boss fight as soon as you start?
Basically, you walk into a room. You're with your new partner, Meryl. You walk into a room. There's this ominous music kind of playing in the background. It's different from any song or anything you've heard throughout the entire game. And Meryl starts to her head starts to kind of go all over the place, and she puts a gun to her head, and you notice there's a distortion to her voice, and you come to find out Psychomantis is actually controlling her. And when the boss fight actually starts, you'll notice that every time you shoot, every time you throw a grenade, anything, Psychomantis automatically dodges the bullet because he can read the player's mind. So what you had to do, you could beat him through traditional means, but it just took a lot longer, and you more than likely didn't have the ammo to do that. Mm-hmm. So what you had to do was you had to unplug your controller physically and put it in controller port 2. Doing that wouldn't allow Psychomantis to read your mind. So every time you shot, he would get hit, and he would actually say that in the game, like, what's going on? Why can't I read you? Like, what are you doing? And then at the end, when you beat him, he'll actually say like, oh, I see what you did. You unplugged. And then, was there any setup to, I don't remember how it told you that was the way to do it, was to swap your controller ports. Also, moment of silence for controller ports, by the way.
Yeah. Didn't it have something to do with like him reading and telling you what was on your memory card or something?
He did. Yeah, he definitely did that shit.
That was the first hint to giving you some sort of an idea that, maybe think outside the box with beating him. Because if you had other Konami games on your memory card, he would bring it up. Like, oh, hey, I noticed you like playing Castlevania or Silent Hill, or like he would say it. And then the second clue was the vibration of the controller. If you had the DualShock at the time, when you plug the controller in, Psychomantis would actually say, hey, put your controller down and I'm going to move it with the power of my mind. And your controller would just start vibrating. Exactly. It would just vibrate like crazy. And the third way was if you're fighting him and like he's dodging everything, if you call Colonel Campbell like 3 times, the 4th time he'll say, oh, wait a minute, maybe try this. And then that's how,
Oh, okay.
Colonel Campbell will tell you.
You guys know, I never owned a PlayStation until PlayStation 3.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I never played this game. But I watched the video of that fight. Do you know if I had played that as a kid, how fast I would have threw my PlayStation out the window?
I feel like you would have been. We might not have ever met because you would have been a PlayStation dude if you had that and played that came out.
No, it would have freaked me out.
You would have dropped respect on Manus.
I wouldn't even known it was part of the game. I would have thought it was some Lawnmower Man type shit going on. I'm like, nah, B. I'm like, nah, I gotta go.
Well, now, so Metal Gear Solid actually had a few like fourth wall breaking things, but the biggest one was before this fight when you rescue the president of Arms Tech, Kenneth Baker, and he'll tell you in the conversation like you're looking for Meryl, and he'll say, "Oh, I know her number is on the back of the CD case. Hurry up, find it, and give her a call." Now, me at the time, I was probably 11, maybe 12. And I'm thinking you get an optical disc from Revolver Ocelot. So the whole time I'm playing it, I'm thinking I need to look at that disc. And
but it's
dude, I couldn't find the number. So then I think I was playing it in the summertime. I went to school like 2 months later. And one of my buddies, shout out to Patrick, that fucking guy. I told him, I was like, dude, I can't find this girl's number. Why? I can't go any further. And he was like, you idiot, look at the back of the CD case. And I'm like, what CD case? And he was like, no, the literal case that the game came with.
I'm about to go pull out my copy of Metal Gear Solid. I do not remember this at all.
Dude, when you flip it over, it's a picture of Snake talking to Meryl on a codec, and it says 140.15 and just the name Meryl. and that's how you find her number.
That's dope. I never knew that.
Dude.
Never knew that.
That's creepy.
That's not part of the main progression though, because I would have never figured that out.
No, you can't get her number. Yeah, you cannot get her number.
There's got to be some way in game to get that, because I never looked at the back of my case.
You could have been like one of those assholes who just checked every number because her number is
possible.
Yeah, because her number is 140.15. Then the codex starts at 140, so you only have to try it 15 times and you'll get it. You're not going all the way up to that. Like the numbers don't go higher than like 163 or something like that. But you would have eventually figured out if you started at 0 and worked up.
You realize this dude said like if you were an asshole, you would just try everything, but yet he spent 3 months stuck with that part and decided not to try that.
You know what? Because I was like, my brain was like, I'm not going to sit here and do that forever, because I'm thinking it could be any numbers. There's hundreds of possibilities. I'm not going to sit here and do that for my entire summer.
3 months.
So
his favorite game, ladies and gentlemen.
I mean, strategy guys existed back then.
You're right.
Well, now remember, I was only 11.
Kojima Hotline.
I was only 11 or 12, so I had no money. You know, I was wherever my mom wanted to go is where, you know, and the only places we went were like grocery stores. So, and they didn't sell they sold magazines there, but not strategy guys.
Now, I remember
it was a Funko Land right next to the grocery store.
It was right.
This guy.
Yeah. Or just do like I did and read that shit while your parents were grocery shopping at the Cub Foods.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They had magazines, but there were no, they did have tips and tricks.
Yeah. Tips and tricks.
But tips and tricks didn't. I don't know. First of all, okay, assholes. Let me start off by saying we're all 30-year-olds trying to apply 30-year-old logic to a 12-year-old. It doesn't happen.
It took them 10 minutes to get to this point. Now I see. Now it all makes sense.
I had a Game Informer subscription from when I was 7 until about 14, 15.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I always had constant stream of information.
Yeah, but see, I also didn't like that either. Like, I like, you know, struggling and figuring it out. Plus,
clearly not for 3 months. You didn't.
Well, at that time, I think I was playing between 3 games: Metal Gear Solid, GoldenEye, and
Finding Yourself.
WCW versus NWO Revenge.
Ooh,
I was playing between 3 games, and once I got stumped with Metal Gear, I just kind of stopped, went to GoldenEye, and then I got hooked on that the rest of the summer.
It's like Patrick will know.
Yeah, I wish I knew. I can't remember Patrick's last name, but if I knew his last name, I would look him up.
His IG right now. Like,
yeah, right.
Like, shout out to Patrick.
Whatever he's doing in his life, just support him with that.
Yeah, you know.
I do remember one of the I don't know if it was the latest Metal Gear Solid when they had the sneaker trailer and you seen the giant whale or something like that, and everybody assumed that Psycho Mantis was at play. Did he ever make a return in any other Metal Gear in this fashion?
He did. He essentially made an appearance twice, 2 more times, I should say. He did make an appearance in the latest Metal Gear 5, The Phantom Pain. And actually the whale that you saw, the whale was actually being powered by a young Psycho Mantis. He had long red hair.
So it did
kid with the cast. Yeah. Psycho Mantis actually, he was in the first game. He really wasn't brought up again until the 4th game for a little bit, and then the 5th game. But he's actually a major part of the overall story.
But did you ever battle him in the same way that he acted in the PlayStation 1?
You did.
What other crazy shit did he do?
In Metal Gear Solid 4, I'll keep this quick because it's I don't want to spoil it, considering I'm doing a Metal Gear playthrough on twitch.tv/phantom_gh.
That out.
Yeah, don't edit that out. Come on. But long story short, you would go to the Outer Haven, and Outer Haven there was
shout out to the Gamers Haven.
Yeah,
you can find us on Discord.
This guy. Fun fact: Gamers Haven comes from Outer Haven. That's where the Haven came from.
So fun.
everything I do is Metal Gear related.
Yeah.
You all should know this by now.
I just want to hear about Psycho Mantis's mechanics.
No,
Shut up.
We're gonna be here another hour.
Dude, we absolutely are going to have a Metal Gear podcast topic.
I just okay.
Okay, all right.
I'm moving to the next
No.
game.
Okay. I'm sorry. Okay. Basically, you fight a boss. The boss is like power wise, they're a descendant of Psycho Mantis. So it's the same thing. Put the controller down. I'll vibrate the controller. But then this one, you can only beat this one. You have to sever the ties. Basically, the only way to beat this boss, you have to disconnect your controller, let the game play for a few seconds, and then reconnect it. Because the idea is the boss has you latched on. They're latched onto you. And the only way to do that is you have to sever the connection between you and the game.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
They do a lot of stuff like that though. Because what's the one where you literally have to change the clock on the system?
Yeah, that was
So the
that was
other
Metal
sniper
Gear.
just dies of old age.
Yeah. That was Metal Gear Solid 3, The End. The boss, his name was The End. He was so old. He was so old that if you got to his boss fight, save the game, turn the game off, went into your PlayStation's clock menu and set the time, like, I think it was like 30 days in advance. When you booted up the save, it would immediately trigger a cutscene. Snake would approach the end, and the end is just laying there dead. He literally died of old age. You could literally beat the whole boss fight, right?
I love that. That's so cool and unique.
Yeah, or you could defeat that same boss because you encounter him earlier in the game, and you can actually snipe him from afar, and once you get to the area where you're supposed to meet him, he's dead. Like, yeah, you can literally either kill him 4 hours earlier, or you can kill him of old age by just setting your clock 30 days into the future.
What happens? Does anything happen if you set it back, or does it just reset the state?
No, it doesn't. What do you mean? After he's dead? Or
after he's dead? Yeah. Like, does it come back to life?
No. It doesn't do anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like that's really cool, though. I never knew about that.
Yeah, Kojima.
That one's hilarious.
I get it, Kojima. He's a thinker.
Yeah, base Kojima.
Now, the next one I want to talk about now. Kojima didn't do this shit. I don't know. Maybe he did. He'll be in
my next one.
Did you guys ever play Monster Rancher?
Oh yes.
Never played it. Watched the show though. Enjoyed the show too.
Yeah, the show was really good. So in Monster Rancher, which I'm pretty sure the game came first, and then
I'm pretty sure the game did.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, I think it was a manga first, and then the game. And then,
yeah, that would make sense. So in Monster Rancher was essentially like Pokemon, where you collected these monsters and you would train them and fight them against other monsters in gym-esque battles. But in Monster Rancher on PlayStation 1 had a very interesting game mechanic, and I thought this was the coolest thing ever. So you would go to whichever vendor or whatever to find a new monster. And what you would do is you would take another physical CD, whether it was a music CD, another game, anything that was just a CD-ROM, you put it in the PlayStation 1, it would read it, and it would pop out a brand new monster associated with that disc. And you would think like, oh, well, I guess this shit's just random, right? How does it know all the CDs in the world? But somehow it did. I don't know how the fuck they did that. I should actually look that up because I'm pretty sure that question's been answered by now. But like, you could put in the same fucking Men in Black soundtrack CD and get the same monster every time. And I remember there would be lists, and it was probably in a Tips and Tricks magazine where like, here are the rarest ones you could find, and here's the CDs you got to find, and it'd be like Suzanne Summers' workout disc, and you get the most powerful starting monster. So cool. I had so much fun. And then what was that company where you can get all the CDs for like a penny?
Oh, I remember what you're talking about, but I don't remember the name. I know they came after me.
What the hell was the name of that shit?
They came after me.
I'm sure they tried coming after me too, because boy, I got a lot of those. But you would just get those. Sure. You would swap those in, and you get a ton of monsters just from 1 penny.
As you say that, I am wondering how they did that. Like, because even if they soft coded it or hard coded it,
but there had to be something unique to every CD that it could read and assign a monster to, or I don't know.
Yeah,
Did
because
you ever?
they couldn't update anything back then because
Right.
Right. Once it was out, it was out.
yeah.
There was no patching or anything. Yeah, that's I remember trying that game and of course I put Metal Gear in there. And like Tomb Raider, and it would always pop out a new monster. But Monster Rancher was good, but I gravitated much more towards Digimon when that came out on PS1.
Digimon, digital monsters.
Like I had
Digimon.
Monster Rancher. I think I had the second one too. But
I put
didn't play it.
Angelmon up against almost any Pokemon except for Moo or Mewtwo.
Oh, Angelmon would destroy all of them.
I'm trying to find a list of some of the CDs that they had. Did you never played this, Sage?
No, I never played it. I know of it, but yeah, I never played it. I just always watched the show.
Yeah, Monster Rancher was good. It was very good. I wish. I know they made quite a few of them after the first two on PS1. But I think it's been kind of dormant since the PS2 days. I mean, I don't recall any on PS3 or anything
I think
else.
might have been one on the PSP.
That wouldn't surprise me. That wouldn't. You'd like put in some random UMD movie and get like some random.
Them UMDs had to be the flimsiest pieces of shit.
I'm looking up some of the CDs here, and like some of them were the rare ones, which would have came from Charlie's Angels Special Edition DVD. Would have got you a super rare monster, or
wait a minute,
Britney Spears' "Oops, I Did It Again."
The Monster Rancher game. Who published it?
That is Tecmo.
Was that Tecmo? Okay.
Yeah.
Tecmo. Yeah.
Tecmo published the game.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking maybe they had like a deal with like MGM or Sony or something like that. So all of their movies that they released or CDs, they would put like a little special code on there just for that game.
No,
like, that would make sense.
I mean, that would make sense, but like this list I'm looking at, like Hackers DVD or Tobal #1 or Metallica's.
Bro,
like, there's no way they could have gotten. I don't know. I gotta look this up to how they did this shit.
Tobal #1 was.
Tobal was fire.
That was a game. Yeah, that was a good game.
How did Monster Rancher work?
That's quite the Google search.
So it says Tecmo created a CD reading system that would use the discs to generate random number seeds and consequently a large variety of random monsters. The values found in the disc data are mapped to monster characteristics. Huh?
Okay.
It's probably like all the monsters are obviously created in advance. And then if you put in a CD with like if the CD starts with a certain number, then it picks the monster in that class.
Yeah, I'm guessing
that number
based off the amount of data on the disc.
Yeah.
Like and then number. Okay.
And then that data probably got broken down into how much is audio files, how much is video files,
right?
How much is processing? Yeah, that's probably.
Now you know what? There's definitely a bit of randomness to it too, because I do distinctly remember putting in the Tomb Raider disc a couple times and not getting the same monster every time.
I don't know. I don't remember ever being able to get something different. But I'm also reading here that in subsequent, possibly even the first one, but like for example in Monster Rancher 4, if you put in the Harry Potter DVD, it would get a unique owl. So some of them they would make monsters that would be in theme with whatever CD you can get it from. So there had to have been some additional thought in place that allowed them to do that. And I mean, they kept making them well into the Nintendo DS.
Yeah, so I was just looking at the Nintendo DS one.
Yeah. Well, either way, that was fantastic. I thought that was very clever. Imagine being in the boardroom pitching that idea. Listen, you could put any CD into the PlayStation. It's going to get our players a new monster. Kick this man out of this room.
Right. Get him. Somebody get him the hell out of here.
Fire this idiot.
Okay, I'm looking at their games right now, and this has nothing to do with Monster Rancher. But it's crazy to me to think that we were still playing PlayStation 2 games in 2005.
Yeah, God of War 2 was 2005.
That is interesting.
It's crazy to me.
Yeah,
I think when I think of 2005, I'm like, oh yeah, that's easily PlayStation 3, Xbox.
Oh, was God of War 2 2006? Because I think it was the February after the launch of the PS3. maybe even 2007, maybe. No, I don't. I'm yeah,
Dude,
but
Monster Rancher 1 million came out July 15th, 2012. And that's the latest release.
What platform?
I don't know. I'm about to look at it. It just says latest release. It doesn't show me what it's on though. Let me see.
I wonder how that worked on the DS. That seems like it limits it because you only could put other Nintendo DS cartridges in there to get monsters. It seems like that almost takes the fun out of it.
Yeah, it doesn't even say what platform it's on. What is this? What is this?
What's another on your list, Rick?
Bringing it back to my guy, Mr. Hideo Kojima.
Oh my god.
Yeah. That dude's he's an innovator, man. You know, that's just what he does.
I'll give him that.
Yeah. Yeah. So the next
If you bring up the fucking Amazon delivery simulator.
That's my next game, but that's not this one. My next game is a game called Boktai. The Sun is in Your Hand.
I don't remember this one.
Never heard of that.
Yeah. All right. Let me take you down a journey here, fellas. So Boktai, The Sun is in Your Hand is a game that came out in 2003 on the Game Boy Advance. The idea of this game was there was a light sensor on the top back of the Game Boy cartridge.
Oh, I heard about this game.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the sensor would actually detect sunlight. And the idea was you played a vampire. He was a vampire hunter, and you would go to castles, hunting vampire. And the weapon that you used was a solar gun. And that solar gun is powered by real natural sunlight. So you had to, yes. So you had to be outside, and when you were outside with the sunlight, your weapon was, fully charged. You could pretty much take on anything.
Go ahead and tell them how that backfired on the game.
Well, the idea, I'm not sure what you're getting at, but the idea
just exploded.
No, kids weren't playing it outside. They were playing it inside and stuff.
Well, see, that's what I was thinking. Like, every kid got this because parents probably saw that and was like, this is a great way to get our kid outside.
They weren't playing outside. Well, no, people were just dying.
Well, no, so that's right. So, but the thing is, though, here's where Kojima, it kind of screwed over a decent amount of kids. But the thing was, the game did not detect artificial light, so you could not be under a lamp.
That's a giant.
It did not work. It did not work at all. And the idea was, if you played the game at night, it made the game significantly harder.
So what if I was a Kojima fan, but it was also agoraphobic, so I can't even go outside?
And you're just playing hard mode the entire time.
Yeah, you're just playing on hard mode. Yeah, that's the idea.
Because I'm reading it says you set your current time and time zone, and then it estimates your sunrise and set, and it simulates the position of the sun inside the game based on your time zone.
Yeah, so I guess you could cheat the system.
No, it actually had a sensor on the.
But so the in-game would tell you where your sun is at, whether it was setting, and then that would allow you to take advantage of the sensor to go outside, is what I'm guessing.
And the game, the series did well enough to warrant sequels, because there was a second one, and then there was a third game, but they changed the name to Lunar Nights on the DS, and they took away that idea of the sun.
I'm saying, what if you lived in Alaska for that little stretch? Was it weeks or months where they don't have any sunlight?
Yeah, where there's like two people that's buying a Game Boy game.
Well, look. This was in 2003. There was no inclusionary. You either could play it or you didn't. And if you couldn't play it, go fuck yourself. Move to somewhere where there's sunlight. It was the idea.
That's a really cool game mechanic, though. That's an interesting idea.
The game was awesome, but obviously, living in Illinois, Chicagoland, that wasn't hard for me to be in sunlight. But I do understand that it may not have been a game for everybody.
Was the game itself fun?
It was.
Outside of the mechanic?
Yeah, what you had to do is you started off at a level, at the beginning of a level. You get through the castle, you take out the boss, and then you have to drag his coffin back to the beginning. And then you use the sun to destroy the boss, essentially.
I guess what I'm saying is, would it have been as fun if it didn't have this mechanic?
Like, if you took the sun out of it, then I think it's a fun game without that mechanic. Was it?
I think it would have been exactly the same.
Yeah.
I think the game would have been. I mean, yeah, because then you could have just. Yeah, like if they would have taken the sensor out of it and just because you had to, I think you had to hold the A button to kind of hold the gun up, charge your gun to get ready to shoot and stuff. And I mean, they could have just replaced that some other way.
How many ways can this game say "fuck you"?
Well, I mean, see, I get what you're saying, but that is there are not that many people that would hinder the gameplay for. Like how many? Okay, no, I'm not gonna say that. I was about to say something real wrong. My first reaction is, look, this is the creation. This is the way they designed it. If you can't play it, that sucks, but maybe don't live in a place where sunlight isn't a thing.
Well, it doesn't mean that it shouldn't exist. I mean, it's just right. It is what it is.
It could be a nuclear apocalypse outside right now. Everybody's living in bunkers.
Of
the
course,
only
Sage
game to survive is
of course, Sage is bringing up a situation that has never happened yet.
The sun in your hand. That's the only game to survive, and the only platform you can play it on is Game Boy Advance.
That's
so like now, for the rest of your life, you just got to get your shit pushed in because of the stupid sensor can't get.
Well, no. So that's the thing. You could play the game that way. It was a lot harder.
It's like
get better at it.
The guy that's the last man on Earth, and the only thing to survive is a library, and then his glasses breaks.
Oh my god!
No!
I googled it, and one of the first 3 videos is Baktai, the sun in your hand. Let's not play outside.
That's funny. That is funny. I enjoyed it. The funny thing is though, is if you bring that game up to a lot of, like, I guarantee you 90% of the audience listening to this right now have either never heard of it or have never played it.
Did you also enjoy Kinetic Sand?
I did not. My kids love Kinetic Sand, so I don't know why that matters, but I just as a mechanic, the idea of the mechanic, I think it's a very unique idea, and I think it worked. Again, not everything is for everybody, so
Well, that leads me into the next one I wanted to talk about, which was Dark Souls, in a game that everybody knows is not for everybody.
Yeah.
And that's generally okay. Now, Dark Souls, the specific game mechanics I wanted to talk about were 2 things that this game did, because, I mean, Dark Souls was filled with so many game mechanics, and you can argue that these originated in Demon Souls. But I feel like Dark Souls had a broader reach in its audience and allowed more people to experience it. And I also didn't play Demon Souls, so suck it. But permadeath, I mean, it's been around for a long time. I want to say permadeath has been something prominent in earlier games, just because you play once, you die, you're done. Now, Dark Souls took this and said, well, you can die, but you have to get back and gather up your stuff, or else you're fucked. You're done. You lost all your progress. So they took permadeath to a new level.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we'll let you heal. All those people you killed? No, they came back too.
So not only do you there's so many things here. I got to step through it one by one. So you go through a zone in Dark Souls if you haven't played before. Now what happens is you traverse the zone. You have enemies that you have to battle. They're very hard. If you happen to die, everything you've collected thus far will be at the position you died at. Now, when you respawn, all the enemies leading up to that point have also respawned, and you get one chance to make it back to where you died in order to get all your stuff back, or else it's gone for good. And like Sage said, if you get hurt a little bit and you want to heal, like at a save point, they all respawn again, and the madness continues. It's another mechanic that they did well was the way they incorporated multiplayer elements into this, and that other real life players can invade your world and assholes.
I'm not even sure I'll call it multiplayer. They systematically, I don't want to say privatize, but let's say encourage trolling.
Yeah,
that's funny.
The messaging. Did Demon Souls have the messaging system?
Yeah, where you could write the notes and stuff. Yeah, they did.
Trust
so
no one.
in the Soul series, you can in my game, could put down a note on the ground and it'll appear in game in the world. And I could say, hey, there's treasure around this corner. Other players, Sage or Rick, anybody playing their solo experience will come to that point where I laid that note down. They'll see that note down on the ground that says, hey, there's treasure over there. When me, being the trolley bitch, there's really a big bad boss around that corner. And then Rick and Sage will go, hey, there's treasure. And I go around the corner and die to the big bad boss. And I just then trolled them. And this is something apparent throughout the entire game. And I love it.
Dude, well, it's not really a glitch. They built the game like this. If you pick the key at the beginning of Dark Souls, you can open a door that takes you to the second to last boss of the game right at the start.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Like, you ain't got no weapons, you ain't got nothing. You just here now.
Yeah, the Breath of the Wild had the same mechanic. Well, it wasn't a key, but you could literally start Breath of the Wild and just make a beeline right to Ganon and fight him naked. If you don't want to, you shouldn't, but you can if you want to.
I think Far Cry did it best though. Like,
oh yeah, Far Cry 4.
Yeah, if you just don't do anything, you beat the game.
Yeah,
at the very start, if you just
when you sit at the table.
Yeah. Pagan men will be like, I'll be right back, and if you just sit there, then yeah, and the game, you beat the game.
That's brilliant though, because a lot of times in these storytellings you think to yourself, like, why would I go out and just start like fucking shooting people? I'm just gonna stay my happy ass here. Let's see what happens. Boom, game over.
He seems nice.
He seems nice. No, pagan min. Although he's not one of the most terrifying Far Cry villains, though. I would say.
No, that's definitely for what was the name? Voss.
Yeah, Voss.
The third one. Yeah, Far Cry 3. That dude was insane.
Far Cry 5, my man started a religious cult and took over the country. Took over half the country.
That's true. It's true. I mean, he was. Yeah,
and if you beat the game, he didn't really lose.
I haven't got to play Far Cry 5 yet. So
Far Cry 5
is good. Yeah, it's real.
I think I started it, but man, I love that series.
Now, don't play Far Cry New Dawn.
Yeah, nah.
Until you beat 5.
Don't play Far Cry New Dawn. You should have just stopped right there.
Well, New Dawn wasn't bad. It wasn't that bad a game. I enjoyed my time with it.
Now, here's my question. As hard as Dark Souls is, what's harder? Dark Souls or Aladdin and Lion King on Genesis?
Well, so here's the deal. Dark Souls is more forgiving because in Dark Souls, I'm the one that fucks up. In Aladdin and Lion King, that game is just fucked up. That's not my skills. That's just that damn game.
I can't believe they had the nerve to re-release it. I was like, why would I do this to myself again? I'm not buying that.
Isn't there a new meme going around something like
talking if to your parents. The parents leaving a note for the kid.
Yeah, like if you beat this game, then I'll give you
it's
like a something I can't remember.
It's like no save points. You only get 3 lives. Good luck.
Oh my god.
Never been done.
Dude. But so as far as the Souls genre goes, the Souls games have never been they're not like my favorite games. The mechanics I don't have time for that nonsense.
They're so good.
Let me
just gotta get through the first playthrough.
Right. Let me rephrase that. It's a good series. It's a good game, but I put those in the same category as like the medium, where I have to be in the mood to play those games because
you get through the first playthrough, then every playthrough after that is just a revenge run.
Yeah, but you have to get through that first playthrough, which
that's the problem. Like now, okay, so I played Demon Souls when it first came out. I enjoyed it. I think I made it to like the 4th boss. It was kind of like I'm enjoying this, but I feel like I'm punishing myself for no reason. Like I don't have to play this. Like why am I doing this to myself?
But the reward, the feeling
I've never physically hated a video game character so much as I did Slave Not Gal. This dude.
Hey Genesis, can you come help me real quick?
Dude, you hated him too. We were getting our shit pushed in together.
My 3rd game is once again a Kojima game. It actually won my game of the year in 2019.
Just real quick, are there any games on your list that aren't Kojima games?
I don't think so.
No.
You said that, but all I heard is I'm looking at a picture of Kojima's dick right now. So.
That's exactly what he's doing.
So
that mechanic right there.
This guy, and you know what? I think okay. So the reason why to the people who haven't figured out, it is Death Stranding, and the reason why it's Death Stranding is because it
you don't know how mail works.
No, my goodness, no. It's a that's funny. It's a unique mechanic that I don't know if I know of another game like that. I mean, yeah, you hear the same old mechanic? Paperboy.
You can. I will give him this. You can play that game in rain, sleet, or snow. No matter what, it will be there.
This guy.
I see what he did there.
Yeah, I did too. I don't want to give him that, so I'm not laughing anymore. So the idea of the game is it's a social aspect to it. It has the delivery mechanic to it. And then if you think about the time that happened immediately after Death Stranding came out, it made it more clear that Kojima is either some sort of time traveler or he can read the future.
I still don't. What's the game mechanic? That's interesting.
The idea. Well, okay. So the idea is
they have advanced Amazon Prime, but no cars.
This guy.
So
no, there are cars. Now, see, that's how you know when you're. Sage, did you play Death Stranding?
No.
Have you watched anything on it?
I watched it and I fell asleep within 5 minutes.
Yeah, see, it's definitely one of those games that's not for everybody, right? I'm not going to defend the game to convince anyone to play it. I don't give a shit what you play.
Yeah,
but
the game is, but I still struggling what the interesting game mechanic is. That Death Stranding did.
Stamps.
The big thing about it is you play as Sam Porter Bridges, and the gameplay is you're connecting the world back together. You're connecting America back together. So what you're doing is you're making deliveries, right? But there's other stuff in it as well. Like there's shooting, there's driving, there's stealth, there's base building, there's like a little bit of strategy element to it when you're navigating through the haunted territories.
Did you?
So there's Google a little Map? Horror, huh?
I said, did you use Google Maps?
No. I'm not sure what that joke is.
You said you need to navigate through the area.
Like the world, yeah.
No. I mean, well, yeah, navigate. Okay, that's why I didn't get it. It didn't make sense. So no,
it makes perfect sense. What are you talking about?
Like a lollipop in a barbershop.
How does that not make sense?
No, the when you're navigating through the horror elements of it, when you're like. They're called BTs. See, I feel like I'm digging myself deeper in a hole.
I still don't know what the game mechanic is.
Yeah, he's not saying a simple mechanic once.
I just said a ton of mechanics.
You said exploration that happens in every other game.
Exactly.
I said shooting.
Your previous game mentioned a light sensor built into the cartridge of the game, and this you're talking about. Well, you travel and you shoot people.
Yeah, you deliver stuff. You do all kinds of.
What's the interesting mechanic?
Let me help you out.
Help me out.
When you deliver stuff in that game, you have to make sure it's balanced right for your character. See, that's the mechanic.
That's a mechanic. I wouldn't say that's interesting, but
it's not an interesting one, but it's a mechanic.
What? Okay. So the when you're carrying stuff, see, I don't think that's an interesting mechanic.
It's not.
We don't think so either.
That's why I didn't say it. But
that is a mechanic. That is a mechanic.
Well, yeah, we're not. Well, we're talking about unique mechanics, right?
What unique? Never mind.
Interesting. Yeah.
Interesting.
Now, I did read that there is a thing that you can pee and mushrooms grow over time, and then they do something, right?
Yes.
And the more players that pee on the specific mushroom, now that's an interesting mechanic.
Wait, what?
Right. Yeah. If you pee in the game, there's a mushroom that grows, and the more you pee on it, or the more people that pee on it, stuff happens.
Like,
now,
y'all eating magic mushrooms?
You're just gonna breeze right past that mechanic.
Well, because it's not okay. So the reason why I breeze past that one is because it's another one of those Kojima things where you don't necessarily know what happens because no one's seen it yet.
That interests me more than anything else.
Really?
Right now. Yeah.
The only reason why I didn't bring it up was because no one necessarily knows what it does.
Yeah, but that's the mystery of it.
I mean, yeah.
That's the
come on, Scoobs.
But I mean, at least to me, the whole game in and of itself is unique. Like I can't think of another game like that.
I think you use
with all those mechanics.
Any other game with a fetch quest?
With a fetch quest? Yeah, I guess when you put it that way. But I mean, there's other. I mean, when you think of like what fetch quest? Like what other games have that same delivery style?
Well, I don't know. I haven't played it, but
well, because this isn't a fetch quest like you go get something and bring it back. This is more of you're making deliveries. So there's no. Yeah, essentially.
You know what that game reminded me of? That colossal Kevin Costner flop. Was it Postman?
Oh, I love that movie.
It was a flop, B.
I love that movie. That's such an interesting tale.
But you know what? And I think Death Stranding is also very.
I'm not trying to shit on Death Stranding at all. I've watched you play it. It looks like it has an interesting world, an interesting story to tell. I didn't see any mechanics in play that were unique or that stood out, having just watched you play it or watched gameplay on YouTube. That's where I'm trying to find out, like, where's the standout mechanic.
So, at least from my point of view, it's the combination of everything into the one package.
I see. Okay.
That to me, that's what makes it unique. That it's like adding Grand Theft Auto with Breath of the Wild with Paperboy. You know, it's just adding a bunch of unique mechanics into one game. Not unique, but adding a bunch of mechanics to one game.
I swear you're using that word wrong.
I think he had us fooled for a while there, bringing up Boktai.
Wait, what? What? Wait, what's not unique about? Like, what do you mean?
No, Boktai is unique.
Yeah.
What's not unique about Death Stranding?
Well,
any of it. From being honest.
No, but I mean, but with some examples.
The story is unique.
Yeah, the story.
I think you're equating a combination of mechanics that are used in a lot of games and compiling that into one.
What other game has you peeing?
That's why I said that's the thing you should have brought up.
As you peeing? Shenmue. Now what?
Shenmue's trash. Okay.
Shenmue was amazing. You watch your whore mouth.
Shenmue's garbage.
To clear it up a little bit, to give you an example of a game mechanic in Shadow of Mordor, the Nemesis System.
Okay, I see what you mean.
You see what I mean? Like, that is something that was new to essentially gaming in a broad sense, I guess. But that is a unique mechanic to that game.
Never had an NPC talk shit to me before, like specifically to me into that system.
Mm-hmm. For those that don't know, the Nemesis System in Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor was a kind of a ranking system, I guess. So the enemies, the orcs that you fought, they had these different clans spread throughout the land. And if you killed the captain, somebody in the lower ranks would then get promoted up to the captain. And depending on how you interacted with, say, the lower level orcs, would determine how that clan was then run. So if you, I don't know, helped or did something nice for some of the lieutenants, and then they got you promoted, you killed their captain, they got promoted to the captain. Now that really changes what that clan has available for you. Or if one of them killed you during a raid and he got promoted, he's going to remember you and, like Sage said, talk shit to you in his newfound captain role.
Yeah, they remember your play style too, so you have to change up how you took them out.
Mm-hmm. That's a dope mechanic.
As far as an overall package goes, I think Death Stranding is unique. I don't know if we agree on the idea of the mechanics being unique or not. I haven't played another game like
the story.
Death Stranding. I 100% agree with you on the setting.
I think as a package,
story,
it's unique.
The gameplay is even unique in that you are doing all this stuff amidst this weird, crazy world. Yes, I agree with you there.
Yeah, but I think when you boil it down to individual mechanics, it's just a bunch of other game mechanics, just kind of like even you can make an argument that like the mushroom and then the you can leave equipment and stuff for other players. That kind of was birthed from the Dark Souls idea or Demon Souls. They just kind of tweaked it a little bit.
Miyazaki and Kojima hanging out after work, getting beers together, get them two in the same room. Boy, can you imagine?
I can see that. Like, hey, how do you want to piss off your fans? Oh, let me tell you what I do.
That's funny. But the Nemesis system, I loved Loved Middle or Shadow of Mordor. I didn't care for the second one, Shadow of War.
Yeah.
too
Yeah, I
much.
didn't care for the second one either.
And the
Yeah.
Nemesis system carried over into that, and I think they expanded on a little bit. But when it came out in Shadow of Mordor, it was pretty groundbreaking as far as holy crap, this is a cool mechanic. In a
Yeah.
similar way to the other one I wanted to talk about was the director in Left 4 Dead.
What do you
Oh,
mean?
I forgot all about that.
Mhm.
That was that. That
That
was
sounds
that was Left 4 Dead 2, right?
And I think that was in Left 4 Dead in the
I don't think-
original as well.
I don't think the director was in the first one, was it?
It was so for those that don't know, the AI in that game was essentially called the director, and as you played through, 4 players could play through a zone or a level or a map, whatever you want to call it, and the AI director would, based on yourself, your team's status, your health, the weapons you have, would conform and place enemies in a way that makes it different essentially every playthrough. So instead of like going through a level and having enemies placed in specific positions every time, the AI director would calculate your status and populate the world in a way that is unique every single time, based purely on so many different variables and things. They call it the director because he's directing your playthrough, which is groundbreaking and super awesome. It made the game stay healthy for a long time. You can keep playing over and over because your witch is not going to be in the same witch position every time. You may not even get a witch, hopefully.
I feel extremely special right now.
Why?
I was just looking up Left 4 Dead, trying to figure it out. I don't know why I didn't know this, but I thought Valve developed the game.
Turtle Rock.
Yeah. And so Turtle Rock is making Back for Blood.
Yep.
Mhm.
So I'm up here thinking that, when I saw Turtle Rock was making it, I saw, oh yeah, they worked on Left 4 Dead. They worked on both of those. They were just a small part of it. No, they were the people who did it all.
But they don't
Wait.
own the rights to it.
They don't own the rights to it, but
That's why Back for Blood is not able to be Left 4 Dead 3.
Yeah, because Valve, heaven forbid they make a third of anything.
Yeah.
Right. Well, because I think, if I'm not mistaken, Left 4 Dead 1 was co-developed by Valve and Turtle Rock, and then Turtle Rock did Left 4 Dead 2 completely alone, if I'm not mistaken.
And Turtle Rock
And then,
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. It was Left 4 Dead 1 was Turtle Rock, Valve, and Certain Affinity, whoever that is.
Mm-hmm. And then they did, dude. Remember, there was such high hopes for Evolve.
Or Evolve, yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah, Evolve. There were so much high hopes for that.
We had fun with it for like a week.
Yeah.
As far as interesting game mechanics, I mean, obviously, I've done Metal Gear Solid's interesting, unique mechanics, and I didn't even touch all of them. That was just like there's 3 or 4.
Yeah, there's a lot I'm sure you could pull from there. Most games go through a game design process of what's the standout mechanic we can slap on as a bullet point on the back of the box. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we see that a lot, but the ones that truly stand out and are unique is, I think we touched on a few of those.
Well, I don't know if this is really even considered a mechanic, but I really enjoy when a game has a decent companion app to it.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's something that's underutilized. I would love to see some more of that.
Because I play Destiny 2 a lot, and they've constantly upgraded their companion app to the point to where I can move weapons in and out of my vault from my phone, go to vendors from my phone, and never have to go back to the central hub area. Like more games. I remember it was starting to take off, and then it just died out of nowhere. I don't know why games stopped doing it.
I have a feeling, or maybe a prediction, with specifically the Xbox doing the whole you could play the game share to your phone, so you could play from your phone, and with the peripherals, I think that'll shoot up purchases of that peripheral that allows you to attach your phone to your controller, which then puts your controller and your phone in sync together, and that'll breed more companion apps, is my prediction.
Wouldn't that kind of defeat the purpose, though?
No, because say you're out in Destiny shooting, I don't know, bunnies or whatever you do in that game, and you got your companion app attached at the top of your controller, and you can do this. You don't got to go to your okay.
You mean it? Okay, see, I misinterpreted what you meant. I meant more so as if I'm out on the go and you're like, oh, and you're playing Destiny while I'm out on the go.
No. I'm just saying that
just the peripheral. You're talking about the peripheral and stuff.
Right. That's making it more commonplace to have it in that position.
And I hate to say this, but if that's the case, we took a roundabout way to get right back to the Sega Dreamcast.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yes. We all know this Dreamcast was ahead of its time. That console had its own unique mechanics in its hardware.
Yeah. Wasn't it the first console with a web browser?
Yeah, it was first online. I remember playing NFL 2K.
Yeah, the Dreamcast was, and it. You know what? I've had that conversation before, where I'm a big PlayStation fan, and it's really sad to think that one of the most advanced consoles of that time was beat by a DVD player. Like the PlayStation's biggest draw was that it had a built-in DVD player. That's it. Like there wasn't anything else.
That's it. Like that's not dope though.
No, I mean it was huge. It was a
combination of that, and as much as we didn't have a problem with it, everybody didn't really vibe well with the controller.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I like the visual memory unit and the feel of the Dreamcast.
The games were there, but the games that were there were still more. They were still more, I guess, Asian games. Not so much popular U.S. games like Sword of Berserk.
Yeah,
amazing game. 90% of people never fucking heard of it.
Yeah, Sword of Berserk was awesome. That was a good fucking game. Now, I've said this before. I don't know. I definitely haven't said it in podcasts, but Metal Gear Solid is one of my favorite games of all time, right? But when I think of the difference between the Dreamcast and PlayStation 2, or even PlayStation 1, there are more Dreamcast games that I like than PlayStation 1 or PlayStation 2.
And yet you shit on Shenmue.
Yeah, Shenmue was trash. I never understood how people like
it. He secretly likes. Yeah, well, that's funny you should say that.
Ryu is the most blank.
You just mad because you actually had to go to work in the game.
No, it wasn't that. It was this no emotion motherfucker is supposed to be like
Death Stranding. He goes to work in that game.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, so that.
Dude, I was piecing people up with Ryu, man.
You know what it was? I think it's the same thing with movies, where a lot of old school stuff I didn't get into until I was an adult. Like I didn't play Shenmue until maybe 10 years ago.
Oh man, dude.
No. So you brought up the fact that Shenmue was the first game to do QuickTime events, and I would argue that maybe God of War really put him on the map, whether Shenmue was the originator. But I would say that I am tired of QuickTime events, and I think we should get rid of those in games. I think it's time for those to die out.
Well, I would have agreed with you 5 years ago that QuickTime events were kind of like, let it go, but they really don't do them that much anymore. Like if you exclude the Quantic Dream
Horizon
games.
Zero Dawn, I think was very prevalent, or am I thinking?
Horizon Zero Dawn didn't have any QuickTime events.
Heavenly Sword.
But that was 2007.
Yeah, that was a while ago. Avengers has them used very heavily.
They do. Oh, but is it QuickTime events in a cutscene, or are you talking about because I know Avengers had them where you walk up to a loot box or whatever and you have to mash that. But no, I guess in a combat there. Event. But that's why I'm just making sure. I'm like,
Yeah, no, just so you do your normal battle with a boss or something, and then the final cinematic is like, yeah, here now, hurry up, quick, press B, press Y.
Yeah.
Counter your argument that was completely wrong. God of War, the first one, came out in 2005. Shenmue came out in 1999.
Well, his argument wasn't that it was first; it was that it put it on the map.
Yeah,
that it was like
no, Shenmue was fuck, dude. You don't remember back when Shenmue was coming out? Almost every video game.
Do you want to compare units sold of Shenmue versus God of War?
No. I'm saying God of War would definitely be sold, but definitely beat it. But that was 6 years later.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, it didn't. God of War made it popular. Shenmue didn't make QuickTime events.
Because it was already popular at that point. More games started using it after Shenmue. I don't get what you mean. I don't get your point right now.
I'd like to see examples of games between Shenmue and God of War's release that used QuickTime events in
Shenmue
that.
2.
Oh, and then games
Shenmue
after
2.
God of
Shenmue 2.
War.
What are you talking about?
Well, I think I don't think there have been that many.
They slowed down a lot.
Yeah, I like in the last 10 years or
Good.
so, I think they've
Good.
slowed down. Like again, if you don't count like the Heaven's Heavy Rain or Beyond Two Souls, like the Quantic Dream games, that's all they do is quick time
Yeah,
events.
well,
But
if it's those like, because same thing with the Man of Medan and
Right.
Little Hope. I mean, but that's kind of
That makes sense for conversation, like games that are in that sort of narrative style. I'm okay with that. I'm mostly pissed off about combat, and I get the tool is used to make for these cinematic battles with that, but it has to be used minimally, I think.
yeah. Like
I mean, honestly, you could argue that the latest Final Fantasy had QTEs.
yeah, Final Fantasy 7 remake. Yeah.
But
Definitely.
Final Fantasy 7 and was it 14 or 15?
15, yeah, 15 had a few too. Yep, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and those are two pretty big games in the last 10 years to utilize them. But I don't think the newest God of War had them at all.
No, not really
I-
quick time, but more like button mashing type stuff.
Yeah, it had button mashing
Okay.
moments,
That's
but
kind
I
of
don't
quick
think
time,
there was.
right?
Yeah. But I mean, like the old God of Wars, where
Yeah,
keep
like
your hand on that controller at all times, type shit.
now you had a boss scene. You don't know what he's about to do, so you got to be ready.
Now here's another one, game mechanic wise, that I think could be argued that we should do away with, and that is fast travel.
Oh no,
No.
I'm all for keeping
What is
fast
wrong
travel.
with you?
You madman?
Leave now.
No, absolutely not.
Can you imagine going from? Oh my god, going.
Or can you
from,
imagine the experiences that you would
no,
have in
fuck.
between those journeys?
No,
You
no,
can
no.
just not do
No,
it.
no.
Don't fuck us all up. So, because you're a maniac.
Listen, no, I utilize fast travel as much as I can, and I'm happy to when it gets unlocked in the game. But it also, I think, in a content creation standpoint, and like if I didn't have fast travel, I think I would experience more of a game and also be a little bit more appreciative of certain things, scenic environments, things like that. I'm spoiled by it. And I kind of wish it wasn't as used as much.
You know what? If fast travel, I could see fast travel not being used in a game like Skyrim. You know,
What do you mean
where
not
the
being
world.
used?
No, I mean no. I mean like, dude,
You know how
Sage,
long it
come
takes
on.
to fucking get? Oh, dude,
No,
start that White Run. Take your ass to Riften in the bottom right hand corner of the fucking map. Then you got to walk back to fucking Solitude, which is in top left hand corner. And you telling me
that'll take forever.
You want to walk
that'll take
back to Riften instead of fast traveling?
No. But I'm saying like, okay, when you put it that way, you got a point. Because I'm thinking from the aspect of it's cool to see new
random
things,
encounters that can happen.
Yeah.
I don't need those encounters. I'm cool.
Just let me get the game.
That map's too big. Map way big. If I gotta call a taxi in your game, this ain't. Nope.
Now, I think the way most game studios do fast travel is it works because you can only fast travel to a place you've already been.
Sure.
So that's cool. But I like the idea of like, hey, I've never been there. So let me experience the world between here and there.
Yeah, I get that.
That's cool.
I mean, I gotta make it there the first time. I get that.
Before we start wrapping things up here, there's a couple honorable mentions that were very subtle game mechanics that I wanted to talk about that I think needs some light shed on them for the innovation that they did. One being, I believe this started in this game, Splinter Cell Conviction. And the game mechanic I wanted to talk about in that was the way they displayed the HUD and game information in the game world itself.
I remember that being very unique.
I loved that. And I'm starting to see movies do that more now, which is really cool.
I thought you were about to say the whole how you could tag enemies.
Oh, like,
and then
yeah.
And then it just would take everybody out in like a cool ass move.
That was cool too. Did that was that first in Black Guy? What was it?
Blacklist. But Blacklist was after Conviction.
Blacklist.
So
okay.
Yeah, Conviction is definitely first. If I'm not mistaken, I don't want to. I could be wrong here, but wasn't Conviction the first game to allow tagging of enemies?
I think it was.
Maybe it was.
You mean like period?
Yeah, like I
Where you
could be
stop
very
time,
wrong
you
here.
tagged him, and then he would go ping, 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 ping.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking
No,
about
he means
tagging an
tagging them
enemy,
all together.
like
Oh no, that was
marking
Red Dead.
them.
Yeah.
Could you? Was there a game before that
I
where you
want to
could
say
tag
yeah.
an
I want to
enemy?
say yeah.
And I can't. I'm having a hard time thinking about that.
Could be.
I wonder if they started that too.
Maybe.
Just Splinter Cell, bro. Shout out to Chuck, man. When we getting Blacklist 2?
We need it. But yeah, the way they did that storytelling I thought was really amazing, and that really sucked me into the game a whole lot more when you first are walking down the street and you see like the picture of like your daughter's face or whatever like being imposed over the buildings, and the words and text being imposed over different cover, like, oh, go to cover here, and it's like imposed over the cement block. It was just really cool way to provide that information to the player. And the other one I wanted to talk about or just mention was Dead Space, and the mechanic there, the display of your health being a part of your character's suit.
Spine.
Yeah, that I think is one of the most simplest things. I don't know if any other game did that before Dead Space, where you didn't have a health bar. Your only information to know how much health you had was based on your spine and the way the levels looked on there. And I thought that was really interesting. I thought that was incredible game mechanic to
Yeah, I don't think anybody did. I think that was the first game that did that too.
taking anything off of the heads up display, all the words and information that, you know, bloat your screen, and putting that into the in-game world is just solid game design to me.
Yeah,
Incredible game mechanic.
I tried to
It
turn
kind of
off
added to the tension too.
I tried to turn off
Like,
the hood one time in Dark Souls. Never again.
Really pretty though when you do it.
It was pretty for like 2 seconds.
You can set that to where as soon as you like swipe your weapon or something, like it appears. But because I did play Dark Souls 3 without it as well, and it really changes the way the game looks, even just by, and it's not even like really excessive HUD, seeing the whole world without any impediment like that. It is nice.
And I need to be able to see my health in that game. It's a safety blanket.
Sure. Now, if Dark Souls had some way of displaying that on your character itself, and then you can play without the HUD, that would be dope. Was there any others you guys wanted to talk about before we close out the show?
No, nothing I can think of. I mean, the only mechanic that I was thinking about was one in Infinite Undiscovery.
Ooh,
oh man,
I vaguely remember that game.
A game that will forever haunt my dreams. I spent easily maybe 70 to 80 hours on this game.
Jesus.
And the way the game would work is you use music along with fighting, and you know, certain songs did certain things. And
oh, that's right, yeah.
And I got to the last boss of the damn game. Couldn't do any damage to this dude. Did not know why. I was getting super pissed. Gave up the game. 6 years later, finally got my hands on a strategy guide. Looked it up. Apparently, the only way to hurt him is to play this one song that you legit get at the very beginning of the game. It's the first song you get that you never use. Like when you try to use it, it says, "Oh, it has no use." You never use the song. You forget you have it.
Wait, did you just not have it and like miss grabbing it, or
no?
You just
I have it.
know?
I have it. It just after 70 hours of playing the game, no part of me was like, "Oh, maybe I should check this song." It's literally been useless this entire time. Why would I want to? Why would I even think about that?
That's horrible.
For my
never been so mad in my life.
for my last honorable mention, which now that I'm thinking about, I should have replaced the Mass Effect trilogy for Death Stranding, and I don't know if you can consider it a gameplay mechanic, but the progression from the first game to the second game to the third game,
I would consider that a mechanic because that was dope.
I would absolutely agree.
The idea of every decision you make matters, and then to have that decision carry over to the sequels, like you can eliminate an entire race. You know, I know you're a big fan of that, Justin, but
wow.
Okay.
Okay, you can edit that out.
You can edit that out.
This is going to be an easy edit, but
no, but the idea of like you could literally wipe out an entire species in the first game, and then that decision, effect of that decision happens in the third game. Like something drastic could happen or not happen in the third game based on something you did on the first game, like in the first 10 hours.
Yeah.
Like That was so awesome.
You could have like somebody like me who I didn't really like Mass Effect 1. So I didn't really jump in until Mass Effect 2, but there was characters that like y'all had in y'all game from Mass Effect 1 that I didn't have because I didn't have that option. So as far as I knew, they dead. They never existed.
Yeah. Yeah. Like there are characters that you could never experience. You know, the main Krogan in the first game is next to impossible to save in the first game unless you really leveled up your stuff. And then second and third game, he's not there at all. You know, and there are some people. Unless you saved him in the first game. Mm-hmm. Yeah. He disappears from the second and third game. But if you manage to save him in the first game, there's a moment in the third game that, is much, much easier if he's alive.
Oh.
Now, I wonder, has anybody played from the first one to the third one and kept everybody alive?
See, I don't know. I kept everyone alive. No, that's impossible. And the reason why that's impossible is because in the first game, you have to choose between Caden and Ashley. Okay. Yeah. So if you don't include that, then there's probably some people out there that have played all the way through. But even then, no, because in the third game, I won't spoil it for anybody, but there's one specific character that I think that character dies either way in the explosion. Sage, if you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. So, but I've never seen that before. And I don't think.
I'm going to look into it later, a little bit later. I'm curious if anybody has. Because I feel like that would change the ending altogether.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm very excited for them to be doing this Legendary Edition where they're kind of tweaking some of the gameplay elements from the first game.
Yeah, and they said they
kind of mix.
They're not bringing the multiplayer back.
So. Yeah. Which is, I'm curious how they're going to do that with the third game, considering the multiplayer was kind of tied into the single player.
It really was.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm very curious how they're going to pull that off. But yeah, Mass Effect all the way. That trilogy was incredible. We will not mention Andromeda.
Does that have a linking in any way, or is that completely separate?
It's completely separate. Yeah, it's got the same sort of template, but it doesn't really carry much of anything from the original trilogy.
Oh, you talking about Andromeda?
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't talk about Andromeda.
We don't talk about it.
Yeah. But dude, Mass Effect was something special. Very, very good.
I give it its props. It's not a game I was ever able to get into, but I do appreciate a lot of things they did.
Mass Effect 2 would make you do. I'm telling you, I was the same way. I hated Mass Effect 1. I actually sat down and played Mass Effect 2. The layer of the Shadow Broker expansion alone.
Yeah,
it's so dope.
Yeah,
I would try them. But yeah, I don't know.
I'll be doing a stream of all three games coming up soon.
You can find that on Twitch.tv/Phantom_GH.
That's right.
That's what I'm curious about to see if when they come out with that Legendary Edition, if they're going to change the playstyle to all run off of Mass Effect 3's playstyle.
That's a good question. That is a very good question. I would have assumed, knowing EA, they would have just kept it, kept the games in their original style and then just tweaked them to balance things a little better.
I thought they were and maybe I'm not reading into it, but I thought it was going to be Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3, but it was going to be like just one giant, game. Like if no cutscenes, nothing, just one game would seamlessly flow into the next one.
I hope that's what is going on. Because I would very much like to just have a 300-hour game.
No fast travel.
It's definitely possible. Oh God, no!
It's space.
Could you? Yeah, you can't play space. No, dude, no way. There has to be fast travel. That's funny.
There's no fast travel in that, right?
In which game?
No Man's Sky.
Well, I don't think there is
there either. But
that's funny.
I heard it's really good now, but
it is better now than what it was.
You realize
5 years ago.
Whenever you have to say something is better now, that means it was trash.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So for it to be better now, that means it could still be trash, just not as trashy.
Well, look at Fortnite's progression. So
people don't even realize Fortnite has a campaign.
That's what I
Yeah.
mean. That's all we were hyped about the campaign
Yeah.
from the trailers and stuff in E3, and then it came out, and then it was garbage, and then Battle Royale. Holy shit, this is fun.
I enjoyed the campaign. It just
No, you
we just
didn't. You
never played.
lying. This
You just didn't play
motherfucker is lying. It was. I thought it would have been cool if I could build bases and it sustain, and I didn't have to just do that on every new like map or whatever the progression they had. Then that.
Yeah, you did it on new map, but your main base we just kept adding to.
I don't know. It was garbage. Like Rogue Company.
And like Altered Beast.
Any game he sucks
Hey.
at apparently is garbage. Like Star Trek Online. Hey.
I'm really good at that game.
It's come full circle.
Well, on that note, game mechanics are, for me, one of the biggest draws in discovering a new game. It's the one thing I try to look out for. What is the game mechanic in this game? Story, it's important to me, but it's not as important as a fun game mechanic. And I know that's probably controversial to a lot of people, but a good game mechanic will get me more interested in a new title. So I'm glad we got to bring up some of the honorable mentions and notable mechanics throughout video games. And there's a ton more because, like I said, that is usually the bullet point on the back of the box. Here's the new cool thing you could do in this game. Anyways, thanks everyone for tuning in to another episode of the Haven Exchange. Tune in every Wednesday for brand new episodes where we talk about a little bit of everything, anything, and anything that we can come up with and think about that we want to talk about that interests us. Let us know some of the podcast topics that you would like to have us talk about. Become a Patreon member today and go vote on the brand new topics over there. Patreon.com/Haven Exchange. Become a supporter today, just like our wonderful Patreon members that we have right now out there supporting us day in, day out. Tashamonetsims and Nerder She Wrote with their continued support. Thank you guys so much. As always, I am your host, Genesis. You can find me over on Twitch, Genesis_GH. Come party with me on the weekends. I'm playing more games now. Can you believe it? It's a fun time. We're playing a lot of weird games though.
Yeah.
and I'm digging it. I got a list. I can't wait to play. Do you know about Baldi's Basics?
Oh yeah, I've heard about that.
Ooh,
my kids watch Baldi's Basic shit though.
We might not be talking about the same thing.
Isn't it like some bald dude with like big red lips?
No, you should probably go look it up.
I am looking at it. Yeah, he's bald with like red lips. He's like, okay, they watch other people play it on YouTube, but it's definitely a kid-friendlier version than this. I don't know what the fuck this is.
Okay. I think you need to monitor what your kids are watching. Rick,
edit all this out.
Rick, what do you got coming up?
Well, as soon as I can stream again, I will be resuming my Metal Gear Solid stream. I'm playing all the Metal Gear games in chronological order. And then after that, I'll be starting the Mass Effect playthrough. And you can find me at twitch.tv/phantom_GH.
Amazing. He finally got his emotes approved on there too. You get that purple GH. With your subscription to his channel, as long as he continues to stream, it'll be worth it. Don't worry, Big RC will be returning with us on the next episode, hopefully. I know you all missed him, but we had the pleasure of sitting down with the Mr. Sage. As he joined in, we seen his bare-ass streaming room. Sage, when are you going to get that filled out and get online so that people can see your face? He's got a speech.
He's got an insult coming.
Yeah, that too. Okay, well that about wraps up another episode.
I'm gonna get it sometime in the future on a day that ends with Y.
Awesome, great. We love a cryptic message here over in the Haven Exchange.
It will be stupendous.
Stupendous. All right. Thanks again, everybody, for tuning in. That has been another episode of the Haven Exchange. Have a good one, y'all. Much love and stay safe.
Peace.
Later.
This is the Haven Exchange.